Microphone check 212. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to It's the Bearded Man podcast with your favorite, the world's favorite bearded man. They just don't know it yet because they're still sleeping on your boy, Bobby. We out here, episode 31. How we doing? It's currently Monday, September 28th, 6:15. We're about to get into some content, ladies and gentlemen. How is everybody doing? I'll tell you what, I'm doing good. I wish I could hear your feedback on how you're doing, but I can't because this is a solo podcast, which means it's just me talking to myself, solo dolo, every single time these drop on Thursdays. So, thank you for tuning in. I'm happy to have you here, and I hope you're happy to be here. A couple housekeeping things, and then we're going to get into this lovely podcast today. This week we have episode 30 of the podcast dropping with the Beard Lord himself, bearded brother Mark Brazil, co-founder of Iconic. If you're not familiar with Iconic, is an incredible canvas art company that you can buy online, and they make a lot of great inspiration canvas art. And they've collabed with tons and tons of people and brands, I know they just had some recent rollout of Monopoly, Dame John. If you just go on Iconic, their website, and you look at some of their art, it's just literally incredible. I'm actually, as I do these solo pods in my bedroom, I'm looking across an Iconic piece, which is one of my favorite ones, and it's a Muhammad Ali one, and he's running on this very foggy midday night. I don't know what time of day this photo shot. Anyway, he's running down the road. It's very foggy. On the left side is the road. On the right, it's green, it's grass, and it says "Keep Going," and I love that. I mean, I love it so much that I have "Keep Going" tatted on your boy's left wrist. But I was lucky to get this piece a couple months ago, right after I moved into the new content crib, and Mark hooked the boy up. But just ultimately, incredible podcast. He is from New York, and he's just a business savage, and we dive into just kind of podcast partners, not podcast partnerships. Whoa. We talk about some of how, dude, Bearded Man's off to a rough start. This is what happens when we do these podcasts at the end of the day. It's not the greatest timing, but it's the only time I can make it work. So you're going to get a little bit of me stuttering, and we're just going to keep rolling. Anyway, he talks about how he does partnerships with Iconic. We talk about how podcasting is an incredible networking tool, and how he's just a great dude. I love his mentality. He doesn't give a fuck, and he just gets it done. And he's just the GOAT, and he's from New York, and I love him. So check that out, episode 30 with Mark Brazil. Incredible podcast. As of right now, at the moment of this recording, 71 days of no booze. Ladies and gentlemen, 71. We're in the home stretch of 100. It feels good. It feels great. I'm just getting shit done, and I'm getting to the point where it's just not, it doesn't even bother me. It's not fazing me. I was out seeing some friends over the weekend at a birthday party on the beach, and then there was another birthday party at a homie's house. 6 feet social distancing, you know the whole deal. And I'm pretty much the only person there that's not drinking. I'm just jacked up on Red Bulls and coffees and drinking a lot of caffeine to get me through these long weekends. Literally started at 4:30 on Saturday, went surfing, had a whole afternoon, full day, went through the night, got home at 2, went to bed at 2:30. Was almost up for 24 hours straight, and that was strictly off of Red Bulls and caffeine and coffee. But yeah, it's interesting because you just get past, once you get past those first 10, I think it's any challenge or something that you're trying to do consistently. After you get past the first couple of days, it gets easier and easier with time. And 71 days, it's like, I'm coasting at this point. That 100 is right around the corner, and I'm stoked to hit it just to prove to the people in the world it's possible, baby. And I don't know what the next 100 days challenge is going to be, but I got to find something. And if you have any challenges for me, hit me up. Looking for the next 100 days after this one ends, so we'll get there. Want to give a shout out to Renaissance, hell of a name. I think he's an artist, so Renaissance, shout out to you, brother. He's got the review of the week. I was checking iTunes the other day, and I saw that he left a review, and he said, first off, the title is My Favorite Podcast, double exclamation points from the emojis. So there's 6 of them. He said, Bobby, with 4 bearded man emojis with blonde hair. I don't have blonde hair, but I'll take it, baby. He said, I have been binging these podcasts for the last 2 weeks, and I have yet to be disappointed. 100 emoji, 100 emoji. That's the biggest cosign of all time. You get the 100 emojis in there, game over. He said, every podcast I've listened to has been better than the last. Whoa, dude. Better than the last? I'm actually doing my job right. Let's go. He said, the energy and passion you bring every time you hop on the mic is truly inspirational. Closing hand emojis. Also, hand emojis of like Illuminati style. You know what I'm talking about? He said, keep up the good work, my guy. With the graph that's shooting up, the red graph that shows growth, and a fire emoji. First off, Renaissance, your emoji game is on point. I'm counting now at least 10 in this review, and he gave me 5 stars. That's lovely. But I got to give a shout out to man Renaissance for rocking with me, for leaving a review, and for just supporting the content, man. That means the world to me. So thank you so much, and I appreciate you being the review of the week. That's it. That's it for housekeeping. Let's get into today's podcast. Buckle up, get your coffee ready or whatever beverage you're drinking, and let's dive in. Okay, so today's topic, what I wanted to dive into, because literally the way these work is Monday morning, I wake up, feel refreshed, feel creative. I come off these great weekends and I'm popping around and doing my thing, and I'm saying just out here living, baby. I keep a running list of solo pod concepts and ideas so that I just see come Monday when I record these, what am I inspired / motivated to talk about and dive into and go from there. And so 2 things that are inspiring today's topic, which is creating unforgettable experiences. And you can take that, and we'll get into it today and what I mean by that, but super important and super beneficial to how I think I've gotten to where I am today in my life, and I'll get into that. But yeah, that's something I wanted to dive into today, because that's just, creating incredible experiences that are unforgettable in every sense that you can imagine, whether it's personal, whether it's business-wise, just literally creating blissful experiences all the time, okay? That's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to do on this earth while we're here, is create these incredible experiences. So myself, right? Now, this is not me trying to be Mr. Cool Guy. This is not me trying to be Mr. Badass Bearded Man. This is just who I am and the energy that I try to give off. Anytime I'm in a room full of people, it doesn't matter if I know these people, if I'm meeting them for the first time, if I'm in an office environment, if it's business-wise, career-wise, it doesn't matter what the environment is. There's 2 things that I when I think about it, that I try to give off. 2 energies that I try to give off. Well, 2 things. One is positive. I want to have a positive presence on the people that I'm around or that I meet. And I want to give off high energy frequencies. I want to be like an Energizer bunny, like a bearded man Energizer bunny. So when I'm in the presence of other people, I pick them up. Not literally, I'll pick them up. I'll pick you up if you want me to pick you up. But I'm talking like literally just the presence and bringing of me being there. I give off a certain energy, and I think we can feel that in other people. Maybe I'm crazy, but I definitely can feel higher energies when I'm around certain people, and I've felt more pulled down from other people's energy. But I try to give off that positivity and high energy, whether it's podcasting, whether that's literally the guy that cashed me out at Trader Joe's yesterday. I'm trying to make this dude smile. I'm trying to make him feel good, because I've also, I've been in jobs where it can be very tedious, and it's like you just customer after customer after customer. Some people, they don't give a shit. They don't ask you how your day's gone. They just complain about what's wrong with the dairy aisle, and they just blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, this is a human being too. Why don't you address them? Why don't you ask them how their day's going, and then politely address the situation? I'm not that guy. I'm trying to be the guy that changes that person's day around just from that 15-second interaction. It's also even like a couple weeks ago, I had to call customer service of American Airlines to rebook a flight. And perfect example, this gentleman probably deals with these phone calls all day long, call after call after call. And I had a blast with this dude. I was trying to make him laugh unintentionally because I was just an idiot and I didn't know what I was doing. But I try to have that, like, try to be somebody that can bring up the energy in people and make people smile. Or that's for the Uber drivers out there. You know what I'm saying? Strike up a good convo with the Uber driver. Been there, done that. Been in the hot seat. You know what I'm saying? Coming up on 1 year since I left Uber. We'll get into that in a couple podcasts. But damn, 1 year gone by quick, baby. Ooh. Might be getting a tattoo for that soon enough. Oh, what'd I say? Just wait. Anyway, so there's two things that told me I need to do this podcast. One was about a week ago. My buddy Reese Hopper, who was recently on the podcast, great guy. He had mentioned to me that he wanted to hop on a call soon to talk about creating experiences. And we didn't even hop on the call yet, but I think the angle he was going at was from when I used to host Purpose in the Youth podcast and how creating an experience was such an important part for me in that project. And so at some point I think we're hopping on a call, but when he asked me to hop on a call, which we haven't yet done, he actually inspired me to think of a new topic that I would definitely want to cover at some point. So I jotted that down. And then yesterday, when I was podcasting with my man Adrian Verdult of the Nelk Boys. If you're not familiar who Nelk Boys is, you probably are. You just don't even know it. Go on Instagram. It's just savage content. It's incredible. Anyway, my man Adrian is a creative for them, does a lot of visual stuff. And so after the podcast, we were talking about Purpose in the Youth. Once again, old podcast, how I did it and how I ran it out of the bedroom studio. And that was a light bulb moment. I was like, okay, just talked to Reese the other day. That was something I want to talk about, or inspired the initial idea. Then I'm talking to this dude. Now he's inspiring me to want to talk about it. So what are we doing? We're here. We're cooking up. We're going to talk about it. Okay. So let me give an example, and you'll see what I mean by creating an experience. And I think when we hear, or you hear me say create an unforgettable experience, I think a lot of people that listen to this podcast are probably business oriented or creative oriented, which is great. That follows my interests, so I hope it follows your interests. But ultimately, it doesn't have to be business related. Like I said, it doesn't have to be anything specific. It's just about creating memories and creating unforgettable experiences that people talk about for the rest of their lives for a magnitude of different reasons. Let me give you some context. With Reese Hopper, like what I was just saying, Purpose in the Youth. I was running this podcast out of my bedroom studio. The fact that I have a name for it just goes to show you to the detail of which I went to make this a hell of an experience for everyone involved. The Bedrudio. Did that for 3+ years out of my bedroom. I was recording podcasts no more than 3 feet from the bed that I slept on every single night. And I did this with some incredibly successful guests that have been on massive shows, or they haven't been in a Bedrudio before, or maybe not in a long time. And I was the one to do that for them. I hope they enjoyed it, because I did. But like I just made sure that that was always my whole goal with Purpose in the Youth from every aspect of it, was to make sure that no matter what, the guest has an incredible experience. The last thing I want to do is waste somebody's time, and I don't want them to feel like that was a waste of my time. So there's a couple of things that I did to try to elevate that show and making an experience that these guys and gals would never forget. Great example. When guests would show up, I would meet them in my driveway. My roommates would talk shit because I would be waiting by our door, waiting for people to show up, and I would be sitting there looking out the window, waiting for people to show up. And my whole goal was like, I didn't even want this guest to have a chance to knock on the door. I wanted to meet them out in my driveway and greet them there. Now, some people might say, the hell does that even matter? To me, it's setting me apart from maybe every other podcast they've been on or show. I'm out there not even allowing them to open the door themselves. I'm going out there to meet them in the driveway, which doesn't happen like that. So I tried to be unique, and I tried to be somewhat different. So that's one example. Another example would be the Bedrudio, like I was saying. I built out a full production in my bedroom, lights, gear, I had coasters with my logo on it. I had a neon sign. I had a welcome sign behind me. So when they walked in, it said welcome blank and they had their name. Try to make it feel incredibly unique and one of a kind for these guests. I also did an extreme amount of research beforehand because I wanted to make sure that I knew as much as I could about these guests before they showed up. I didn't want to ask them questions that I could easily find on Google. I wasn't there to scratch the surface with these podcasts. I was here to dive real deep. And the best way for me to do that was by going on Google and typing in their name and looking on YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook and scrolling back on their Instagram and looking at their tweets and finding everything that I can on these individuals, researching as much as I could and outlining questions and not scratching the surface, but diving deeper on facts that are out there in the world. I just need to find them. And the best compliment I could ever get during a podcast would be somebody would be like, yo, how did you know that? They'd be so caught off guard that I knew something about them when in reality, that information was just public. Anybody could find it online. Maybe it was an interview from 6 years ago and I quoted them and asked them a direct question about it. And they'd be like, wait, shit, you did your research on this. And those are two of my biggest compliments. Either they would directly say like, man, you really did your research. Or two, they would question, yo, how do you know that? And that was always a pat on my back because I was like, I'm doing the work correctly. I'm taking the time to research and learn about them before they show up so that when we do sit down, we can dive deep. And we're not just like, it's very important as an interviewer, especially if you're trying to do it at a high level, to know as much as you can about that guest so you can connect dots in real time and you can have a real honest conversation because you know a lot of things about them. But like I said, ultimately, my whole goal was to make sure that it was an experience that people never forget. And I think that same mindset is kind of how I've translated just experiences and the way I carry myself on a day-to-day basis. It's not easy to do all the time. Sometimes we have our great days and sometimes we have our low days. Sometimes we just want to be in our head and not, be the person that's bringing a lot of energy. But for the most part, I try to have a positive and high energy feeling. Like I try to give that off to people. So when I'm meeting people for the first time, I'm running to Trader Joe's, calling up American Airlines, I want to be a guy that's different than everyone else. And so at the end of the day, if someone's like, man, that one person was different, it was unique for all the right reasons, I want to be that guy because I think what you put out in there to the world is exactly what you're going to get back in return. So why do we create these unforgettable experiences? There's certain people you meet in your life that you take note of and you just never forget. It could be a very brief interaction, but there's something about that conversation, the way that person carried themselves. There's just something that you feel from them, even if they're not directly actually touching you. And so I think that's extremely important. How people remember you can always connect to a further dot down the line. And so we want to recreate that experience for other people. We want to be that person. If somebody that strives for greatness and wants to be successful in anything, that it doesn't matter what your industry is. If you want to be somebody that does something at a high level, you want to create that experience that people don't forget you for the right reasons. And let me say this. This is not coming from like an egotistical standpoint. I'm not here to tell you guys and gals to go live your life and try to be the baddest effort in the world. I'm here to say that I think through creating great experiences for people, it feels good, they feel good, everyone's happy, and I think that energy just full circles. And there's no way to actually pinpoint how doing so benefits us in the long run, but I truthfully believe it. People take note of it. You're somebody that's unique and different and just gives off a different vibe, like a different energy. People take note of that. So no matter what your goals are in life, doesn't matter what industry you're in, people are always involved in some way or another. And we want to make them feel good. We want to make them feel real good. The key is find a way to make people feel good, and they will always keep you around them. Think about it. You want to hang out with the people that make you feel good. You want to work with the people that make you feel good. You want to grab a drink with the people that make you feel good. You want to go on a date with the person that makes you feel good. If you can find a way to make people feel good, and I'm not talking kissing their ass, I mean, genuinely make them feel good, whether it's by the way you smile, by the way you compliment them, the way you hold the door open, you're a gentleman or a gentlewoman. I mean, literally, find a way to make people feel good, and they will always keep you around them. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. So how do we create these unforgettable experiences? This is coming from me, the bearded man. So take it for what it is. Don't have all the answers. This is just my bearded wisdom, my bearded 2 cents. So this is how it goes. Number 1, super, super important, is stay authentic to you. Now, I do this already. This is just me. This is the core of me. If you crack me open like a safe, authenticity, baby. That's who I am. What you see is what you get. I'm not going to try being somebody that I'm not, because I just know short term, it might work. Long term, it's not. I'm unapologetically myself. I'm respectful, but I believe in myself. I'm very confident. I'm not afraid to tell you my truths. I'm not here to post highlight reels on my social media. I'm here to share it all. So don't try to be someone you're not. People can see right through the bullshit. I'm a people's person. I feel very fortunate. I have almost like a sensor when I'm like bullshit, or truth. I can feel it. I can see it. And if I can do it, there's other people that can do it. So don't try to be someone you're not, because people can see right through that bullshit. And it's not going to help you. We don't want to be, like I said, the whole IG highlight reel. We don't want to come off as somebody that everything's perfect. People can't relate to that. Everybody has emotions. Everybody goes through their own shit in their own lives. People want to relate to people that are real. And the people that still just try to post a highlight reel and show all the cool shit that's happening in their life, but don't want to talk about their own insecurities or problems that they're having, which I know is not easy to do. I'm not saying we should all just be posting about how we're feeling. I know it's not easy to do, but we don't want to be that person that's just posting the good stuff. If you're going to share stuff on social media, share it all, baby. Paint us the full picture. That's what we want. We want authenticity. I'll tell you what, also that goes along with being authentic is you got to be good at saying no. You got to be good at staying out of situations and not putting yourself in environments that aren't for you. Great example, this past weekend, my buddy Jeremiah Davis jumped off the Venice Pier here in LA, and he wanted me to join him. I said, absolutely not. And he was talking that trash. He said, you got to come with me. You got to do this. I said, absolutely not, because that's not made for me. That's not who I am. I'm not the adventure seeker in that sense. I'm not an adrenaline junkie. I don't live for that shit. I like to keep both feet on the ground at all times, if possible. Feels good. Feels good to keep my feet on the ground. And that's the way I do it. And so that was a great example of me just not doing it, not jumping on board for that. Also, let me pause for 5 seconds because I can hear a little audio glitch. I want to make sure this shit sounds good. 1 second. All right. Don't know what just happened there. Hoping that doesn't come back. But the good news is it took off my sweatshirt because I stopped recording. And I was cooking up so much heat that I was actually cooking up my body at the same time. We don't want that to happen. Anyway, didn't jump off the pier in Venice because I knew that wasn't meant for me. And Jeremiah did. So bless his soul. Anyway, that was an example of me knowing this isn't meant for me and I'm not going to do it. So I shoot to be the exact same person in every environment. Doesn't matter who I'm around. I'm always trying to be the exact same person. I think growing up, we have to put on that. Maybe there's other times in our lives where we are somewhat different around, depending on the audience or people we're around. But I try to be the exact same person no matter who I'm around. And I think that just speaks to the authenticity aspect. Got nothing to hide. You love me. You hate me. This is who I am. So in order to create these unforgettable experiences, I think just us being authentic speaks so loudly and is an example for us. And I think it's important. Number 2, be resourceful and make it work with whatever you've got. All right? So when there's a will, there's a way. It's about making it work with whatever you got, whatever resources, money, time, energy, people that you can lean on for advice. Whatever you've got to make it work. We can't get discouraged because we don't have all the money in the world, right? I know that feeling. When I was cooking up in that bed Rudio, I sure as hell wanted to have that fire-ass studio, but I wasn't going to complain, and I wasn't going to let that hurdle stop me from actually creating and cooking up. So what I do, I just was resourceful, and I made it work with what I had around me. And I think what that does is it forces us to think outside the box, and it makes us get creative, which I think really is important. Because if you can create with nothing, then when that time comes and there's budgets and you have resources to work with, you know how to work with it because you've been in a place where you didn't have any of it. So we need to trick ourselves into believing sometimes it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, right? When I was doing the whole building a bed Rudio out of my bedroom, I had to find a way to execute that dream life, which was the podcasting. It still is a dream life to me. I still had to find a way. And that's what I did. Built the bed Rudio. Didn't let that hold me back. And I kept telling myself, it's not a matter of if I'm going to, pop off and make this a full-time career. It's a matter of when. And it's interesting enough how literally, although not directly am I making a living from creating content via podcasting, but the role that I have at Liquid IV is overseeing our podcast media buying. So it's interesting how that kind of worked. So if that's an example, keep it rolling, baby. Also, really hope this episode comes out the way I hope and planned it to be, but these subjects sometimes I think they sound good on paper, and I have no idea if this is actually going to be beneficial to people. So we're going to keep rolling, keep it going. Take a little sip of water break. Hold up. Hello. High quality water, yep. Here's the thing. With creating, chasing dreams, there's no right or wrong way to do it. Nobody's really got the answers. Everyone's got an opinion. The only way you got to figure it out is by actually doing the work, staying consistent, continuously showing up, keep putting in them reps, keep learning, keep growing, and that's what I'm here to do. Some things will hit, some things will flop, but no matter what, we keep showing up, baby. Number 3 for creating an unforgettable experience. You got to prepare yourself like you're heading into the finals. The answers are out there. We just need to find them. Use the internet to your advantage. It's an incredible tool. You can find almost everything you ever need on the internet. And prepare and show up to every opportunity as if it is the finals. Every day, treat it like it's the finals. It's the way you carry yourself, the way you interact with people. You don't know how this conversation with somebody that you're bumping into could turn into something bigger. I'm not saying seek people for how you can take advantage of them, but keep that in the back of your mind. You don't know how these interactions and these little things that happen in our day-to-day, how that could really move us forward or move the needle forward at some point in our lives. So we need to just treat every day like it's legit the finals of a big game. It sounds crazy, sounds hard to do, but literally you don't know when that opportunity is going to come. I mean, it's very easy to go on the autopilot mode on the day-to-day because it gets the slow growth. At some point, you kind of just put in the back of your mind, you just keep making progress, you keep chipping away, you keep putting in the work. And it can be tough. It can be really tough because at some point, you're just like, you get anxious and you're like, when is my work going to get recognized? And you don't have a guaranteed time of when it will get recognized, but you still got to keep doing it over and over and over because people are watching and they're taking note of our every single move. So we have to just keep showing up, smile on our face, and know that when the opportunity strikes, we'll be prepared for it. Luck is when opportunity meets preparation. So treat your days like you're heading into the finals. You're creating those experiences on the day-to-day, setting out that positive frequency. You're showcasing that, you are who you are. You're happy to be who you are, but you're also taking note. You're not just mailing it in and it's so hard for me to actually describe it, but you have to almost convince yourself that today's the day every day. That way you carry yourself with your head held high and you're just taking advantage of every opportunity to meet people, to build on the thing that you're working on. And it's important. Number 4, really important for creating unforgettable experiences, is make people feel good. This is kind of what I was saying earlier. Live and breathe by the golden rule. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Very, very important. Somehow, some people forget it, or they never knew it in the first place. But we need to live and breathe by the golden rule. We need to go above and beyond for others. We need to go the extra mile. Those little moments can add up, and they can change the direction of where we go in our lives. Go above and beyond for others when you need to. And bring energy to the room, right? This is all about making people feel good. Smile. How simple is that? But how good does it feel when you see somebody smiling at you? I'm not saying like be a weirdo, just like stare at people and smile, but just smile. Have a good presence in the room. Listen more than you talk. That's an easy one. Ask questions. Ask thoughtful questions. Don't just ask, very surface level questions. Ask thoughtful questions and let people do the talking. I've learned so much more just by listening than actually speaking, and do the same. People like to talk about themselves, and they like to talk. If you're asking the right questions, they're going to take note. This person's curious. They're asking me great questions, and they're not overstepping their boundary. And here's another great example. Open the door for people. That's a good one. It makes people feel good. Am I right or am I right? Open the door for people. Go out of your way to help people in any way that you can. This 4th piece is just about making people feel good. Make people feel good. It goes back to what I said earlier. Make people feel good, and they will always want you around them. Find a way. It's not, like I said, it's not about kissing ass. It's about finding a way to bring value, bring good energy, bring great memories, bring great ideas. It's not about kissing ass. It's just about making people feel good. And because of that, they're going to want you around them a lot. 5th and last one for creating unforgettable experience would be, this is really hard to do all the time, but be present. And through being present and being in the moment and just living and breathing in this moment in time, do your best. Easy to say and really important to do. Be in the moment. Don't let your head drift to what happened yesterday, what you have in front of you tomorrow. Be here right now and do your absolute best. Intent is always greater than results. I remind myself of that every single time I upload these podcasts, every single time a podcast goes live. Bobby, bearded man, the intent is greater than the results. Why you're doing this in the first place is so much more important than what those results look like. Screw what the numbers say. Use them as some gauge of how the project is going and maybe adjustment you need to make moving forward. But if your intent is right, that's all that matters. Keep chugging along. Keep putting up the reps. On top of being present, there's always going to be more on the to-do list. So I know it's hard for us to do that sometimes. But the more present we are, I think the more engaged we are, the better conversations we have, the better energy we give off to people. And no matter, like I said, no matter how yesterday was or what you've got planned for tomorrow, be in the moment. It's extremely, extremely important. Creating these unforgettable experiences, this is not easy to do. This has been an interesting road of a podcast that I went today. But it's so important. So how do we create these unforgettable experiences to wrap up? Stay authentic to you. Don't try to be someone you're not. Be true to yourself and be authentically you. Be proud to be you. Be confident. Stand by what you believe in and be who you authentically are. Number 2, be resourceful and make it work with whatever you've got. Doesn't matter what your goals are in life. Doesn't matter what you're trying to do, what industry you're in. Be resourceful and make it work with what you've got. You can do it. Number 3, prepare yourself like you're heading into the finals. Always be prepared for any opportunity that you're involved in or something that you're working towards. More preparation is better than less. So always be prepared. Treat it like if you're going into the finals, baby. That's how you got to treat it. Number 4, make people feel good. Good. Very important. Make people feel good. Like I said, if you can find a way to make people feel good, they're going to want to keep you around them. Not about kissing their ass, but making them feel good. Do it. And fifth and lastly, be present and do your best. Intent is always greater than results. Do your best today and try to be as present as possible. Through doing all of that, through those steps, I think it allows us to create unforgettable experiences, whether it's in business / career, whether it is in school environments, whether it is in personal relationships, whether it is in dating life. You want to create an experience that people don't forget. And we want to be the person that gives off positive energy, high energy, and frequency to the point where people want more of us, so they keep us around. That can help us get bigger jobs, better creative opportunities, better relationships. Could be a magnitude of anything. So my challenge for the listeners, ask yourself, what's one adjustment you can make today that would have a lasting and positive impact on the people around you? What is one adjustment you can make in your life right now that would have a positive impact on the people around you? Think about it. There's got to be some small tweak that you can make that would make the experience in your day-to-day better, and it would for the other people. Think about it, write it down, put on a sticky note, stick it to your wall, and make that adjustment. Well, that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed today's podcast. I hope it brought some type of value. We're just trying our best. This is all, once again, like I said before, do your best. That's all I'm trying to do. Trying to be the best version of myself and keep chugging along and keep creating some badass podcast content. Please, please, please do me a favor if you enjoyed this podcast. Screenshot this episode, post it to your Instagram story, and tag me at Bob-A, B-O, 3 B's, 4 A's, and a Y. It's how we get this podcast out there organically without paying for some crazy ads, because we ain't got that type of money yet. So please, if you enjoyed today's podcast, screenshot this episode, post it to your Instagram story, tag me at Bob-A, B-O, 3 B's, 4 A's, and a Y, and I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. That's it. It's the Bearded Man Podcast. Episode 31 is in the books. We did it. Thank you for tuning in. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Be great. Have a great rest of your day, night. I don't know what you're doing, but just crush that shit, baby. Get real nice. Do it good. I'm cooked. All right, that's it. Talk to you guys and gals soon enough. See ya.